Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today I'm going to show you how to make a stand for this guitar, which I carved out of basswood quite a while ago. And it's a fun little project, so let's get started. To make this guitar stand, I'm going to use a 5mm diameter circular basswood piece along with a 6mm by 6mm square basswood piece. So first of all, I'm going to mark the length of the stand. I'm then going to find a suitable position for the base rest and mark that position. I'm also going to mark the position where the neck of the guitar will rest against the stand. Next, I'm going to mark and cut a 6mm wide neck rest piece. Now I'm going to cut the stand to length, which is just a little bit shorter than the length of the guitar. Next, I'm going to cut a 5.5cm square piece to form the base rest. To add more support for the base piece, I'm going to cut 3 more circular pieces. 2 pieces 2.5cm wide and 1 piece 2 cm wide. Initially, I cut the legs of the stand using circular pieces at 10 cm each. But then it occurred to me that if I use a square piece, it will be much more stable and much more sturdy, and it will also be easier to make a half-lap joint and connect the pieces together. Once all my pieces are cut, I'm going to sand all the edges using 400 grit sandpaper. Next, I'm going to make a half-lap joint for the legs of the stand. I'm going to do this by marking the center point of both pieces and then marking the depth of the cut, which is equal to half the thickness of each piece. Once the lines are marked, I'm going to make stop cuts using my chip carving knife. I'm going to be careful to stay on the lines. These stop cuts will serve as guidelines before I start chiseling out the grooves. Using a chisel and a mallet, I'm going to make a groove on both the pieces. I will then use a metal file to smooth out the cuts and prepare the pieces for gluing. And that is why it's called a half-lap joint, where both pieces overlap each other 50-50. We are now ready to glue the legs of the stand. Next, I'm going to mark the pieces for the guitar base. I'm going to drill holes on either side of the square piece, and then I will glue the circular pieces by pushing them into the holes. Here I need to be very careful because the size of the drill bit is almost as large as the thickness of the square piece. Once all the pieces fit, it's time to glue them up. Next, I'm going to carve out the neck rest. I'm going to do this by using my wood carving knife. I'm going to keep the square piece diagonally, and I'm going to make a straight downwards cut to make the back of the neck rest. I'm going to keep working on the back until I get a nice and flat surface. Next, I'm going to mark 3 lines so that I can cut a curve at the front of the neck rest. I will make 3 stop cuts with my knife, one at the left hand side, one at the right hand side, and one in the middle. I will then carefully remove the wood from the middle, trying to make a curved cut as best as possible. I will also be very careful not to apply too much pressure while making this cut. I'm going to grip my knife firmly and make a very controlled cut. Once I've cut the basic shape, I can now sand it and complete the curve. I will use 400 grit sandpaper for this. Once happy with the shape, we can now glue it up along with the base rest. make the stand as sturdy as possible, I'm going to drill a hole at the bottom for a 15mm screw. I will insert the screw after I've applied finish to the stand. Now I will just glue the legs to the stand. I will finish the stand by applying 3 coats of Danish oil, leaving 24 hours to dry between each coat. With the stand now finished, I'm going to insert the screw from underneath and the stand is ready. So I hope you enjoyed this project, and it actually turned out quite nice, and the good thing about it is that it takes very little space when you keep it on a tabletop or on a shelf somewhere, because your guitar is not lying flat on the table, it's standing up like this, so it's the only space that's being used is the space used by the stand. So it's very practical, and I'm glad I made it, and it looks pretty nice. So thanks for tuning in, and let me know what you think, and until next time, thanks for watching.